side. Murphy shooting, save a rebound on the view.
Hey everyone, this is Casey. You are watching the Red Rubber Duckman All Sports Network. Steelers lose 25-10 to the Los Angeles Chargers on Sunday Night Football. Now that I've had some sleep and some coffee, I can finally talk about what the hell this game was. So, I'm kind of glad that the Steelers lost a game like this, because now they have so many flaws that they have to look over. And they're going to be forced, I'm sure the players are going to be forced to watch a lot of film today. Not on Tuesday, today. Because Justin Herbert, 220 yards and a touchdown. He was able to do that with the offensive line they had. I think I saw a stat on Sunday Night Football. They had 16 different O-line combinations. Their offensive line is battered. They didn't have Joe Alt, their top blocker, and yet he didn't feel hardly any pressure. Yeah, he got sacked 3 times, but it still didn't stop him. Because all of his receivers were basically wide open. From Gadsden to Lab McConkey, everybody was getting open because we couldn't tackle, we couldn't block, we couldn't cover. And there was a whole lot of issues that they needed to fix. Actually, no. One issue. Covering slants. It's what killed you in Cincinnati. It's why Jamar Chase was able to get the yards that he did against you guys. And it's the same reason why Lab McConkey and Gadsden were able to get the yards that they got. Because you can't cover slants for the life of you. It's like you've learned nothing from Cincinnati. That defense that I saw against Indianapolis, they disappeared. Like, when I said, where was this the whole time? I thought the Steelers returning was too good to be true. I was right. Yes, you did manage to sack Herbert like 3 times, I think, but you still couldn't stop him. You could not stop him. And then, of course, Aaron Rodgers kept out of the end zone until he hit Roman Wilson with a 27-yard score with 2:57 left. But, of course, it was way too little, way too late. And he managed to get sacked 3 times. Threw 16 for 31 because he was either throwing it way too high or just didn't, or constantly got pressure because our offensive line still can't block. And there was also one time where he managed to get sacked for a safety. And you had Harvey keep asking for the 3-2 score. I'm like, the Steelers won't give you that 3-2 score, but the Chargers definitely. And the Chargers definitely won't because they want the foot on the throat, and they were losing by said 3-2 score. So now the Steelers have dropped 3 of 4. And they were 0 for 9 on 3rd down before converting their lone touchdown drive. Like, here's what I don't get about this team. You always play down to whoever you want to play down against. Like, were you too busy celebrating your win over the league leading or then league leading Indianapolis Colts? Like, hello, flip the switch. You're back to 0-0. You have to continue. You have to continue to look at your next opponent. Because, and I'm very glad that Chris Boswell missed that field goal wide right. Because it shows that you can't always rely on Chris Boswell to give you points. You have to find a way to get points yourselves. Because I've seen way too many times last year where Chris Boswell was our whole offense. I saw it in week 1 against the Falcons last year. I saw it in our first game against the Ravens last year. What's it going to take for the Steelers to realize Chris Boswell is not your whole offense? You can't just rely on Chris Boswell to bail you out every single time. With the Steelers down 5-3, oh no, Harvey's perfect 3-2 score got ruined. Rodgers threw 3 straight incompletions, with cornerback Cam Hart breaking up the last one intended for DK Metcalf in the end zone. And then we turned it over on downs. And of course, it doesn't help that Aaron Rodgers threw 2 interceptions. One wasn't really his fault. Meanwhile, the other bounced off of Calvin Austin's chest and into the hands of, guess who? Former Steeler Dante Jackson. Like, I don't get this team at all. And this is a frustrating story about the Steelers. A battered team kept in the game by not just playing to their strengths, but also the Steelers playing down. I know I mentioned it many times before, but I keep mentioning that one Steelers game I went to back in 2017 on Sunday Night Football, Steelers and Packers. Like, they didn't have Aaron Rodgers back then. He was hurt. And yet, they still kept it close. And it came down to the last frickin' play. Brett Hundley was cooking you guys the whole night. And lo and behold, you had to rely on Chris Boswell to bail you out with that 53-yard field goal. Why do I bring it up? Because it's happening every single year. And I'm sure the coaching staff says, oh, you're not a real fan because you don't support everything we do. The standard is the standard. Yeah, but your standard doesn't win playoff games in this day and age. Like, you went 13-3 that year, but you kept on relying on high-end talent, and you looked past Jacksonville. Look where that got you. Your ideologies are the reason why TJ Watt doesn't have a playoff win yet. Do I want to see this guy turn into a defensive Dan Marino with no Super Bowl wins? Hell, not even a playoff win? No, I don't want to see him turn into that. It's the same story every week, or near every week, and every year with this team. We keep seeing 8-8, 9-8, 10-7. And even when we do get higher than 10 wins, we still find a way to choke. because it's the Steeler way. You got Cincinnati next week. And if you look at the AFC North standings, objects in the mirror are way closer than they appear. Baltimore, 1 game back. Cincinnati, 2 games back. Browns, 3. That's not a very steep hill to climb. You guys are single-handedly turning the AFC North into what we've been calling the NFC East for years. Tank division. Unless you do something and find out your flaws and fix them, we're not going anywhere. Heck, I can even see this team missing the playoffs, even when we win the division. You need to fix it. Otherwise, it's going to be a long, long offseason where you do nothing and spend nothing. And you don't fire coaches unless they retire or have their contracts expire. Enough. This kind of loss hopefully opens your eyes. Because while I thought they were open against Indianapolis, you must have sewn them shut in your celebration after that win. Enough. Focus on Cincinnati. Look at film today, not tomorrow, today, and think about what you can do better. Because I'm sick and tired of seeing 9-8, 10-7, and constantly being a first-round exit. Enough. I want this team to do better. The fans want you guys to do better. And the sooner the coaching staff and the front office realize that, you'll be reaching 7 heaven in faster than you could ever imagine. But maybe first, it requires you to look in the mirror. Ask yourself what you can do better. And then maybe you can get this team turned around back to its former glory. Now, let's focus on Cincinnati, and then we'll see where we go from here. But that's going to do it for me. Please feel free to like, comment, share this with your friends, subscribe to the Red Rubber Duck Win All Sports Network. I may or may not stream Steelers and Bengals. I'll let you know in the community tab because we do have some events, because my family does have events going on. But until we meet again, I will see you all in the next one. Take care. As much as it pains me to say it,